60. And now looking to follow up with hopefully not just a great performance individually, but a win this time around. The Kings hoping to stop Ian CJ from doing just that, as we're not stopping our own duo of games tonight, which began with a good one, real good one in Philadelphia. The Cavs looking for 3 straight on the road. Oh, so close for the Fightin' B-Lines. We bring you center court, Casey Stern, Candace Parker, the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas. And let's go to the final sequence because Candace, no disrespect to the three-point shooting, Embiid had 3 in the first half, but it was inside the work he did to get the bucket, and then defensively, what'd you see here?
Yeah, right here, Kevin Love getting a great look, diagram play out of timeout. You can't ask for a better look than that. But, I mean, the Sixers down the stretch, really doing a good job defensively, executing, getting stops. But again, on the other end, offensively, there's not many people that are going to keep the Sixers from getting a bucket when they need to, when they have Embiid inside.
Yeah, two well-designed plays by, two good coaches at the end of the game. I thought Philadelphia did a good job, with the high-low action, dumping it into Embiid. Embiid got a nice, shot at the rim. And then for Cleveland, I mean, Kevin Love, he has a wide-open 3, courtesy of the shot fake.
Nice look there from our new courtside cam. Yeah, just some of the extravaganza in center court.
I mean, just a little long on the shot, but I mean, 2 well-designed, well-executed plays.
The thing is, too, I asked Coach about this, and by the way, don't want to disrespect either Long Island, my birthplace, or Tennessee. Tobias Harris 0 for 11 from 3 in this game, and the Sixers survive. But, Zeke, sometimes you see teams have to almost mirror the effort of other teams. And we used to say about Memphis, the grit and grind. Mm-hmm. I know you talked about John Beilein in our pregame. Are we already starting to see the culture that he's presenting of the work and effort that the Cavaliers were putting out? Because it seemed like, tell me if I'm wrong, Philly was having to up theirs as the game went along.
Absolutely. And what you're seeing is, similar to what he did at Michigan, what he did at West Virginia. They play a very methodical style, and they don't take bad shots. They take good shots. Even though they use analytics, they don't depend on analytics. I think they come to the game saying, okay, we got a mismatch with Kevin Love down low. We're going to put it in the post, or we're going to put it in the post to Tristan Thompson. We're not going to take hurried rush shots. We're going to make you defend pick and roll. We're going to make you defend post. We're going to make you defend back screens, flare screens. So I love the way this Cleveland team is coming together offensively. But more importantly, Candace, I like the patience that they're playing with on the offensive side of the ball, particularly out on the road.
And that was a nicely run play, obviously, for Kevin Love, who would say, I'm sure, he and Tristan both great again tonight, had a good look. But I want to go to the possession before that because, to me, there's greatness about in coaching when everybody knows X guy's getting the ball, right? And you get it to him anyway because you find a way. They misdirect. They use a little youth defensively as Sexton gets mixed up and Embiid really wide open from the Harris feed to get the biggest part of the game in the bucket.
Well, I thought it was interesting that at the end of the game right here, they bring, Embiid into this, obviously down low. I mean, he gets this possession here where it was great defense, Tristan Thompson, but on the next possession where they get the high-low, they brought Tobias Harris high and not Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And that has been, I will say, a problem that I will say with Philly is that in the playoffs, your best player, you have to have them play off the ball.
Yeah.
Because Ben Simmons doesn't knock down free throws very well, and he's not a reliable shooter from the outside. So I think in years past, they've had Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. That can be that guy that they throw the ball to and he goes and gets a bucket. Well, now, with everybody knowing that Embiid's going to get the ball in the paint, they're going to make it harder for him. They're not going to allow him to beat you. So in the playoffs, do you have to go to a guy like Tobias Harris to finish games and to make plays for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, one of the things as Philly continues to go down this path. I mean, can Simmons be on the floor at the end of the game if he doesn't have the ball? What we both recognized tonight was a defensive mistake by Cleveland, where they didn't help enough off the weak side, and Embiid was able to catch it and lay it in. Simmons was on the weak side, and that defender could have slid down, but he didn't. I think when we get to the playoffs, there will be enough attention paid to detail where that weak side defender will slide in, and Simmons will have to make a play either from the perimeter or putting it on the floor. But that's definitely something to watch and look for.
And I think just to add to that quickly, Zeke, Horford, who we didn't see tonight, you go to those years in Boston, we saw it even last year in the playoffs. So great when he's at the top, almost directing traffic, enabling shots and passing and flow. Well, if he's doing that, to your point, expounding on it, then where's Ben Simmons? Because now he doesn't have the ball in that spot either. And Horford is so good at that offensively.
And early on, Steve Smith and I went to the game where Philly played Atlanta, and you could see the confusion with Al Horford and Tobias Harris when Embiid's on the floor, because it seems like, Tobias likes that left block. Embiid likes that left block. Simmons likes that left block. There are a lot of guys that love the same spot. Al Horford, the same thing. So figuring out offensively, especially in the playoffs when you're scouted, where the ball needs to go and how to get those two involved, because Tobias has to be that third scorer for them to be able to be successful.
And I think, come playoff time, and I've said this before, Simmons got to become a better foul shooter. At the end of the game, in the last 2 minutes of the game, your point guard, he's got to be able to do a couple of things. He's got to be able to distribute the basketball. He's got to be able to also knock down foul shots. And if he's open, make a shot. But where you really finish off the game when you got a lead, you finish it at the foul line, because teams are going to be fouling. They're going to make mistakes. So majority of your points are going to come from the foul line to keep that team at bay. But if you're a poor foul shooter, then that coach is going to have to take you out. And then how does that coach massage the ego that you have as being one of the best players sitting on the bench at crunch time?
Well, the question back here in our studios in Atlanta, Casey Stearns, Steve Smith, and how about Stan Van with us as well. Coach, defense obviously going to be the difference maker. It has been all the talk, Coach Vogel, all the way down to LeBron, and it was the difference late tonight, too.
No question. I mean, look, they held them to 80 points, 35%. Miami made one of their last 14, and they scored 34 points in the second half. There's no reason to expect that the Lakers are not going to continue this kind of defense. I mean, think of who they've got. Look at their starting lineup. Avery Bradley, Danny Green, LeBron James, three of the best perimeter defenders we've had in this league. Anthony Davis, always going to be a great shot blocker. Dwight Howard, one of the best defensive, a three-time defensive player of the year. This defense is going to be outstanding all year. This is what teams are going to have to deal with if you're going to beat the Lakers.
And even on Tuesday, in a win where the first half against Chicago didn't go so well, they give up 32 in the second half because they clamped down. And we talk about the bigs. How are you seeing things work with JaVale, who starts the game, AD, and then we saw Dwight with the minutes too, Smitty?
Well, I think Vogel's doing a good job. He's starting JaVale McGee, and he fits, right away with those guys because he's a defender and he's a live guy. But then also they can still go to AD as a 5 by themselves. He has a lot of guys that he can have LeBron playing the 4. He can have Kuzma playing the 4. So I think he has a good mix, and he doesn't need to satisfy Dwight and JaVale McGee. They don't have to have big minutes, so he can mix and match. I'm looking forward to seeing how he implement Rondo and those guys in the second unit. But this team is going to be able to defend. It's going to come down to what can they do.
The thing you love is, I think, you glue guys, grit. Watching Caruso play, the extension of plays, Smitty, diving on the floor. I mean, look, the number is 6 points, 4 assists, 3 boards, but he's in the middle of everything with that second unit.
It's the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league. They didn't get that quality of shots tonight. They don't have a lot of guys outside of Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic who are going to create shots for people. But they do play very well together. They play at a high energy level. They get out in transition, and they will defend.
We talk about kind of where guys should be. Dragic, very different spot for him, Smitty. Different spots in his career in terms of location, but starting. Now coming.
He might be saving his legs. I think Spo is just trying to figure it out, and when you have veterans that allow you to figure it out, it's fantastic.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's basically a starter, okay? You know who the main 5 guys are by who's finishing games. He's been out there for them in those situations all year. It's like watching the Clippers with Lou Williams, sixth man of the year. Look, the guy's not a bench guy. He plays more minutes than the starters. He's in their top 5 guys. It's the same with Goran Dragic here. But what he's allowing him to do, like Smitty said, is he's allowing these young guys to develop. None is out there at the start of games. When Winslow wasn't hurt, he was out there as the starting point guard. Tyler Herro's getting a lot of minutes. When it's time to win games. Goran Dragic will be there for the Heat.
Now, we'll be here to tell you about some amazing things tonight, including you just mentioned Lou Will, bucket getter. Do you know the Heat would have only beaten Dame by 20 tonight? Like the whole team would have beaten Dame by 20. We'll take a look